bit of a backstory here. You see the man sitting on grid position 3 on the front row. That's Shane Richardson from Wellington, the Wainui Joinery Kawasaki. He isn't in the championship hunt. This is his first run in the New Zealand Superbike Road Racing Championship, but he is looking to put on a performance here and give himself a bit of a boost as he will head offshore and head up to the United States of America. 1 light is on, 2 lights on, 3 lights on. We're just about set to go racing. Who's got the best of the starts? I've got to say it was Avalon Bell. She got off the line really well, but so too did her partner Jake Lewis, and I think it'll be Jake that will lead them into turn 1.
I think Avalon got that.
You might be right.
For a yellow bike, I think she got an exceptional start. So, man, I certainly hope she did as we take the line up. That's
yeah, she did. I think you're absolutely right. We're just watching on the security cameras here as they head down the back straight into turn number 1, and there's 2 of them arguing about the real estate there. And is it Av? I think it might. No, she's gone back to second. I think it might be Jake in the front now, but we'll try and pick it up when we see a little bit more of them. So early days, though, anything can happen. Remember, it's about a championship. To finish first you have to finish.
Yes, indeed. As we look out for our Supersport 600, brought to us by Kawasaki. Time to ride. Indeed, with Kawasaki and their trail rides, their kids zone, their demo rides. Yes, an opportunity for you to take a bike for a ride right here with Kawasaki at the track today. Bring it on with Kawasaki. Proud to be sponsors of our Mike Pero Real Estate Moto Fest as we look to build the excitement of this opening lap in scorching pace for our run-through. This will be the Jake, Avalon, Shane, James and Jaden show at this stage. They look to be our hot shots. Remembering Jaden Hassan has not been in the championship series so far, so she's going to be all on board to take some class. We talked about it before with other it feels like the sidecars that we've had other riders come in that have not been in the championship to date, North Islanders that have not gone to those opening 2 South Island rounds, but are happy to be here in the North Island when the racing's on their doorstep. They've come out to show their class, and with Shane, of course, this is a one-off performance ride. Like Damon Rees we saw in the Superbikes, he'll be back to Australia in 2 weeks' time for round number 2 of the ASBK, and of course this man Shane Richardson, who will be in Daytona for the fantastic 200 over there as we look to field the fly. And there we go.
So James Hugenbo's up into 3rd place going through there. Richardson back into 4th. David Hall, another brilliant start for the man on the Suzuki. But it is Jake Lewis leading it. Avalon Biddle through in 2nd, so no change there.
Hey, Rogan Chandler, people like Toby Summers. Toby, man, if he can just get those starts sorted out. He used to have starts nailed. He was starts with a capital S, but unfortunately just hasn't been able to do it. And this year, and a change of bike is something you've got to get used to again. I can understand that, but just hasn't been able to quite get that advantage. Didn't qualify as well as I'm sure he would have liked, but the Summers Plumbers, Carl Cox Motorsport Kawasaki rider, showing us his class, and I'm sure he'll be doing better than the 8th place at the end of this race than he's currently holding.
Just watching him as they work through the Swampy's curves and out onto the double B, and it looks to me like Shane Richardson just getting a little bit closer now to James Hugenbotham. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th, and as I say that, Avalon Biddle getting a little bit closer to Jake Lewis, so the position's closing up. They're in and out of the high pull hairpin, heading for the Porsche Dipper. It is the Triumph of Jake Lewis in the front, the Kawasaki of Avalon Biddle in 2nd, and then the other Triumph in the field, and that is James Hugenbotham. He was the points leader going in. He's currently sitting in 3rd place. In fact, Shane Richardson has just passed him by the look of it as they head down at the bottom end of the circuit once again.
So winning position indeed, front row right here at Hampton Downs. Check it out, it's an apartment number 313 for sale. Check it out with Mike Pero Real Estate, the only real estate company to be selling quality apartments here at Hampton Downs. Maybe your first home, maybe your second home, a holiday home. Who wants to go to the beach when you've got global warming? You want to come to Hampton Downs and keep it cool. So watching some great hot racing instead of some great hot sand. So check it out, Hampton Downs, the place to be in real estate apartment.
So the only change really, Richardson moves up, David Hall gets a little bit closer to Jake Hugenbotham. 0.3 of a second, the difference between Jake Lewis and Avalon Biddle. Maybe Shane Richardson, the man on the move in that one. Just having to get the lap times. Fastest on the track at the moment is Avalon Biddle, 1:38.845 as opposed to a 1:39.216 for Jake Lewis. So Av's doing a fantastic job out there at the moment.
Yes, indeed, courtesy of MTF Finance. The lady still listed as being from Motor, but she's still proud to call it home. Kawasaki New Zealand, Aussie Performance, special hi to Chris and the team back there. Spectrum Motorcycles, Carl Scott Hyasun Cup with NGK Sparkplug, CRC Motor Laws, Protector Insurance and others. Avalon Biddle, the Orewa lady, the queen of New Zealand motorcycle road racing on the ZX6R Kawasaki, showing an impressive performance. Partner Jake in front of her. How's that for some quality time back home over breakfast, lunch or tea about who beat the other one and when they overtook at speeds of close to 200 kilometres an hour, and it's all on. Not just on the kitchen table, but here at Hampton Downs when the two lovely team come through through. The Jake and Avalon show in full flight at the moment.
And she's getting closer, Neil. Just having a look on the cameras. They head down into the sweeper again. I reckon she's closed that gap down a couple of tenths. Still sitting in second place. Then there's a battle going on between Richardson and Hugenbosen in third and fourth. Hall and Hassan getting together in fifth and sixth. You'll see them come over the top of the hill. It should still be the triumph of Jake Lewis. It was 0.357 of a second last time. I reckon it might be a little bit closer this time around. Here is Jake Lewis. Or maybe I spoke too soon because the gap just closes. They head down into one once again. James Hugenbosen goes through. Then we go back to Richardson. David Hall in there as well. So this is another great performance from David Hall. I've been really impressed with him this summer.
The quiet achiever and the man who can ride multiple bikes. He's such a talented rider. Of course, the family's involved in classic racing, and here he is on a modern bike. And when I say modern, often not the latest model bike. The bike that he's on, I think, something like 3 or 5 years old. So it's not exactly the latest and greatest. So hey, a Suzuki 600 from that era is still a very competitive bike, as he's proving. Jaden Hassan, of course, who's out there with him at the moment in 6th. Toby has moved up one. He's got the 7th. Rogan Chandler back in there to 8th. The new kid on the block in New Zealand 600 racing. What about Ashton Hughes, the man formerly of Greymouth, now out of Bulls, the Air Force man from Ohakia, running in a 9th place there. And Nathaniel Diprose, fresh from his win in Super Lights earlier today, has got it there in 10th place. A great top 10. People like Nathan Jane, Jesse Wickie, John Crawford, they're forced back out of the top 10 because of how good this other top 10 are racing at the moment. But check it out, the Jake and Av show on in flying good form at the moment. The Triumph's leading the Kawasaki.
Well, just looking at that, I think Avalon's quicker in from probably section 2, from probably turn 2 through to about turn 4, because she really picks up the advantage between herself and Jake. But then Jake gets a little bit better drive, maybe coming off the Porsche Dipper and down into the short chute there, because you'll see as they come up the hill this time, I think, once again, I'm a bit of an optimist, but I think that gap will have closed just a little bit. But just watching on the cameras, okay, there is a bit of a delay on our camera system here at Hampton Downs, but you'll see it for yourself. The Triumph's still going to be in the front, but I reckon Avalon might have shaved a bit off that lead this time around. Will I be a liar?
No, I reckon you're right.
3 of a second. She has shaved off 0.2 of a second in that last lap, so maybe we're going to see a change. Now, this will be interesting. This will be interesting around the kitchen table tomorrow morning.
Right, so there you go, 2.9 seconds separating our top 4. It's a further almost 3 seconds back to go to James, but I tell you what, that is an impressive run, sorry, to Jaden for those top 4. 2.9 seconds for the top 3. That's Jake, that's Avalon, Shane and James. Remembering 2 Triumphs, 2 Kawasaki's in there. Jake and James, of course, teammates out of Team Underground Brown, and along with Budget Motorcycle Spares of Christchurch. An incredible effort from those 2, those beautifully prepared bikes. You look at them, you think they're from the same stables. Yes, they support each other in a lot of ways, but they are 2 distinctive riders. James Hugenbosen, one of New Zealand's underdone favourites. Man, oh man, did he ever have a championship in the bag there a couple of years ago, and then unfortunately threw it away. But that's racing as we all know it, but great to see. Yes, indeed, brother of Alistair Hugenbosen, who we've caught up with in the Superbikes. Of course, Al's the one who's going across to America to join Team Richardson Devereux. I don't know whether that's quite a good thing, Alistair. Maybe we should go and have a word to him afterwards. But anyway, everybody can't have it perfect. But I tell you what, Alistair will add some class to those 2, and hopefully somebody will now be doing the dishes and the washing.
So it looks to me that Jaden Hassan's got up in front of Toby Summers there, and David Hall's in that mix as well, but we look to the bottom end of the circuit, and this time I think the gap has just widened a little bit. 0.3 of a second last time round. They head up the hill. Jake Lewis and Avalon Biddle now both domiciled in the South Island. Triumph leading Kawasaki. Yes, it looks like it's grown. It is. It's 0.7 of a second, so whatever Avalon did the last time, Jake has doubled that advantage this lap around. Richardson through still in third place. Then we go back to Hugenbosen, Hassan, Toby Summers, David Hall, Rogan Chandler. Haven't talked too much about Rogan. He's been racing well consistently right across the summer series. Spent our off-season in Australia on 300cc machines, but now he is on the 600 bike, and once again another one being mentored by the engineer that is Davey Cole. Been responsible for quite a few of the Blue Crew Yamaha teams, and David, should I say, Rogan back in 8th place now. Nathaniel Diprose in 9th. Then we go back to Ashton Hughes, Nathan Lane, Dale Finch. Let's see what's happening at the front of the field.
As we see as well what's happening at the front of the points, remembering James Hugenbosen 10 points in front of Jake Lewis. So this is going to be one title down to the line. 10 points is far too early to call, and it's James, the underdog, through there as well. So just how well he's gone. Interestingly, of course, if you look back at their points, it was James that did all the winning at their home track for round number 1. Then the boot on the other foot, with 2 out of those 3 going to Jake to win the last round, but still only separated by the 10 points. Rogan Chandler, 44 points behind those 2. too. They are just so dominant at the front. 13 behind him is Toby Summers with Avalon, a further 10 back. So there you go with Avalon, super consistent. She's either scored 10 or 11, so that's a fourth or a fifth, a fifth or a sixth in those results. But here she is, about to set it alight with a much better performance. Ashton Hughes, David Hall, Peter Allison, John Crawford and Jacob Stroud have been the other point setters in this class, but they're going to be joined by a few others today that have come to the series for the first time, like the Shane and Jaden show.
0.8 of a second that time, so she's pulled a little bit back as they cross the stripe once again. 6 laps in the book for the 600s. Jake Lewis leads it, Avalon Biddle in second. I was just watching further down through the field. There's a great scrap starting to develop between Jaden Hassan and Toby Summers, so I'll keep an eye on that for you. That at the moment is for 5th and 6th place. Behind him, David Hall, and then Rogan Chandler. But out in the front, it's still the Triumph. Now, you mentioned, Neil, this is going to close up the points. This is going to make it interesting with 2 races tomorrow and, of course, 1 full round to go in Taupo in a fortnight's time.
Well, OK, so there you got it, with Avalon being the rose between 2 thorns, because that's 9 points will be between first place and 3rd place, and that's from Jake over James, and yet 10 points the other way. So at the end of this, will be 1 point to separate them if they finish in this order for overnight, ready to go for tomorrow's penultimate day of the championship. So, wow, what a championship we're in store for in this Kawasaki-sponsored Supersport 600.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're at the halfway stage, if you like. 2 rounds in the South Island, 2 rounds in the North Island, another 2 races to come tomorrow, and then 3 at the Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park in a week or 2's time. So, yeah, this one is absolutely going to go down to the wire.
All right, keen to look at our update, because we're mixing up with the looking at the points and the overall performance in this race, and remembering, of course, the last race tomorrow as well are the TT titles, all on for those that one lot of racing. So there's a significant amount of glory saved for the end of the day tomorrow. And the legendary TT or Tourist Trophy, of course, we have the Isle of Man TT, where we've got our own New Zealand TT, and it's all on here in the final race tomorrow. White flag as well, with one lap to run for this field. Very changes, maybe. Oh, no, Toby's moved up. Yes, he's gone to 6. He has 2. Hey, he's got the better, so he has moved up and got 1. So he's gone that 9, 8, 7, 6. Can he get Jaden Hassan with a lap to go in that one? And then margin at 0.144. And then Ray's been pouncing. Who knows where he could do it? So a good battle to be watching out for there. Toby Summers, can the Carl Cox Motorsport man make a pounce and go through to take that special 5th place? That's going to be a great battle, and really I think the only thing to watch in this last lap, because the other 4 looking equidistant and about the same ride, Phil.
Yeah, I think you're right, and remember that have put this in the back of the memory, because Jaden Hassan not contending in the championship. Jake Lewis, Avalon Biddle, Shane Richardson, James Hugenbotham, Jaden Hassan. Take Richardson and Hassan out of the championship equation, because they're not there.
In fact, I'm pretty sure we've got the change. It looked like in the last frame that we had it. Yes, indeed, there's Toby. Toby's got it. Toby Summers has moved up ahead of Jaden Hassan. He's got that advantage, so well done to Toby. Toby there at the moment. The Carl Cox Motorsport Kawasaki has moved up, so the flying number 22 out there. Toby Summers, courtesy of Carl Cox Motorsport, R&R Power Sports, Super Finishing Limited, Mad Love Media, Better Tools, Spectrum Motorcycles and Pirelli Tyres, and the Kawasaki ZX6R Pilot. We're going to move up as we go to the finish line. Here they go.
Checkered flag, Jake Lewis wins it. Avalon Biddle through in 2nd place, losing 1.1. Then it's Richardson, and then it would have been James Hugenbotham. As close as you like there between Jaden Hassan and Toby Summers. Well, they battled long and hard over the last 2 laps. Shane Richardson in 3rd, but as I mentioned before, take Shane Richardson and Jaden Hassan out of the championship equation. They're not there, but so that means that okay, they're stealing valuable points, but it means that some of the other lesser lights will now move up. And you mentioned it before, Neil. Jake Lewis is now going to be right on the hammer of Jake Hugenbotham.
And in fact, in the end, now I've got that, because James has finished up in 4th place, so Shane took that 3rd, so that's 25, 20, 16, 13, so there's actually 12 points for that, and there was 10 points, so now it's actually
so
changed.
It's flipped the other way around. Yep.
Jake has now overtaken. He has a 2-point advantage in getting the victory that he did, and his teammate, well, he didn't realise, but his teammate had gone back to 4th place. There you go. Jake, Avalon, Shane, and